So I think the biggest problem that I worked through with Action Coach was the fact that I just didn't feel like I had enough time. I really felt like I was kind of racing toward burnout because I would spend 70 to 80 hours working every week in the practice, and as you know, as the practice grew, I just required more and more and more time. And then unfortunately, we were having troubles with customer satisfaction because of that, because there just wasn't enough time in the day. So I spent really little time with my kids and with my husband, and had to spend so much time just working in the business that I didn't have a whole lot of time to work on it either. And so our systems were not in order, and we really just couldn't deliver at the level that I wanted us to be able to deliver. So personally, I think is where I felt it the most, because I just didn't have time at home. My kids are younger and they have a bedtime, and oftentimes I wasn't there in time to tell them good night. I mean, there's plenty of times I was telling my kids good night over the phone from the office. And I don't live that far from the office. I just didn't have all the work done. So I didn't get to spend time with my family. I felt like even on the weekends when I should have been off, because things were not flowing as smoothly as they needed to, I still was kind of preoccupied with work. So I was there, but I wasn't really present. So that was a big impact. And then secondly, just in the business in general, I mean, I wasn't too pleasant to be around. I was perpetually tired because I worked so much. I had a challenge in meeting all of the customers' expectations, and it was just challenging to figure out, okay, what's the next step? Like, how do I solve for this? Because the impact was great, and I just didn't know how to fix it on my own. Two of the concepts that we really leaned into heavily once I started working with Eric, the first was time mastery. So I didn't realize how much time I was wasting in the day. And I didn't realize how much more effectively and efficiently I could leverage the time I had, until I started using the default calendar and actually scheduling when I would do things to make sure that I was really productive during the day, not just busy, but productive. So time mastery was such a huge difference. And then delivery mastery was the other one that we leaned to heavily, coaching with Eric, because so much of the work that was done wasn't documented in a systematized way. And so it wasn't easy to teach the next person or to reperform even in the next instance. So it was like everything was new every day. And so as our team grew, it became more and more challenging to manage delivery if we didn't have documented systems. And so Eric really helped us to understand the importance of documenting your systems and making sure that it's consistent, and then teaching everyone well and training them so that they can implement those systems. So I got better time mastery and less demands on my time when we paired it with a delivery mastery. And I mean, the difference is night and day. It is a night and day difference between what I had before I started coaching almost a year ago and where we are now. The team is bigger, almost doubled, and it takes less time to manage them. Customer satisfaction is up, way up, and we're doing a much better job of being really consistent without having to work 80 hours a week. So I would say that as a leader and a business owner, we all have great ideas. We all have obviously the grit and the passion to do it. You don't jump into your own business if you don't, at least feel like you're capable. And so I think individually, we feel like we should be able to do it all. We should be able to manage it. We probably shouldn't need any help. Like, this is our baby and we're going to raise it to the best of our ability. And it took just the humble perspective of realizing there are things that I know how to do and I'm great at. And there are things that Eric knows how to do better than me that he's great at. And if I can learn what Eric is teaching me through coaching, that just makes me better. That's not a sign of weakness. That's not a sign of inability. That's not anything to be ashamed of. We just have to humbly recognize, yeah, we need somebody to help us along the way. We can't do it all. And as I studied more and more about just coaching in general, I found that the great empires, like we're working on building empires at my firm, and the great empires, one of the commonalities that exists in them is that they had mentors and coaches that worked with them to help teach them along the way. There's not a such thing as a solo success. You really need the right people in your corner who are teaching you. And that's exactly what I got with Eric at Action Coach. And I would also say that the things that I've learned from coaching haven't just been like a sunk cost to me or a time spent that didn't ultimately give me time back. And so first, kind of just recognizing, yeah, you need someone that can teach you the things that you don't know. And third, being willing to invest in that. It's going to allow you to experience the kind of growth that we've had at NextGen and do it in a way that doesn't require you to work more. I actually work less now with a bigger team than I did before. And that would not have been possible had I not invested in coaching and recognized that I needed to get a great coach in my corner. So I am eternally grateful for Eric. I think if my husband and kids were on this, they too would be eternally grateful for Eric and all that I've learned with Action Coach, because it's just made such a difference that that we just wouldn't be where we are if we didn't have a great coach helping us get there.